What kind of place is so cold your breath can freeze mid-air? Yet nations are racing to build high-tech bases there. Hidden beneath snow and ice, sci-fi style bunkers and secret research stations stretch the limits of human engineering. These Antarctic outposts shouldn't exist, but they do, and each one has a story more chilling than the ice around them. In the most unforgiving place on Earth, engineers have built the impossible. Temperatures reach -80 Celsius. Winds rage at over 200 kilometers an hour. It's a land where steel becomes brittle, batteries die in minutes, and stepping outside without protection can freeze your breath solid. This is just not a place for human life, and yet humanity insists on building there. Just a revolving cast of scientists, engineers, and support crews who come and go with the seasons. Most stations are completely cut off for months at a time, locked in by darkness and surrounded by nothing but ice stretching for thousands of kilometers. And yet, dozens of nations have set up research bases, some of them massive, some barely more than a few modules on skis. Why? The official answer is science. Studying climate change, space weather, geology, and more. But that's only part of the story. The real intrigue began with the Antarctic Treaty of 1959, which banned military activity and nuclear testing. But here's the catch. It didn't stop geopolitical maneuvering. In fact, it might have just made it colder. There's quiet power plays, Outpost, and a frozen land grab. And the deeper you look, well, the stranger it gets. At first glance, Concordia Station looks like something out of a sci-fi movie. Two cylindrical towers rising from a flat, endless wasteland of snow. Located on Dome C, one of the highest and most remote points on the Antarctic plateau, this French-Italian base is often nicknamed White Mars. And as you can see, the nickname fits disturbingly well. Why? Because Concordia is so extreme, it might be the closest thing we have to living on another planet. Temperatures here can sink below -80 degrees Celsius. And for several months each year, the sun doesn't rise at all. There's no wildlife, no windbreaks, no scenery, just a white void stretching to the horizon. Even by Antarctic standards, this place is brutally isolated. And that's exactly why the European Space Agency, or ESA, uses Concordia as a training ground, not for cold weather missions, but for space. Astronauts come here to simulate life on Mars. Extreme temperatures, zero rescue options, psychological isolation, and reliance on a self-contained ecosystem. Everything they learn here could one day help humans survive on another world. And yet, people stay. Not many, just 12 to 15 individuals overwinter here each year. And they're cut off from the outside world for up to 9 months, facing not just the cold, but profound loneliness and the mental strain of endless darkness. They call it a research base, but in many ways, Concordia is also a psychological experiment, a test of how far the human mind can stretch before it snaps in the cold. And this is just the beginning, because compared to what some other nations are building, Concordia is practically cozy. If Concordia is Antarctica's loneliest outpost, then McMurdo Station is its crowded metropolis. Operated by the United States, McMurdo isn't just the largest base on the continent. It's a full-blown frozen mini-city tucked into the southern tip of Ross Island. In the peak of summer, McMurdo buzzes with over 1,000 residents. Scientists, engineers, pilots, cooks, janitors, and even artists and residents. In winter, that number drops to around 200 hardy souls who are willing to brave the isolation and 24-hour darkness. But even then, life doesn't stop. This base has its own power plant, harbor, 3 airfields, and even a fire department. On paper, McMurdo exists for science, but its scale, infrastructure, and military-grade logistics tell a more layered story. Built during the Cold War, it served not just as a research hub, but as a strategic outpost, close to Soviet territory and valuable shipping lanes. During that era, the US wasn't exactly making scientific bases for fun. They were trying to establish a superior military presence. And one of its most jaw-dropping features? In the 1960s, McMurdo was home to Antarctica's only nuclear reactor, codenamed PM-3A. It powered the station until cracks and safety concerns led to its shutdown in 1972. Today, McMurdo runs on diesel fuel, shipped thousands of kilometers through frozen sea lanes. So why go to such extremes to build a literal city on ice? Because in a place governed by treaties instead of borders, presence is power. And for the US, McMurdo isn't just about studying penguins. It's about staying one step ahead in one of Earth's last uncontested frontiers. And they're not the only ones thinking that. If there's one base that truly lives on the edge of what's possible, it's China's Kunlun station, nicknamed the Snow Dragon. Built in 2009, it sits atop Dome A, the highest and coldest location on the Antarctic plateau. We're talking altitudes over 4,000 meters, oxygen levels half of what you get at sea level, and temperatures that regularly dive below negative 80 degrees Celsius. And getting there, that's a feat in itself. Kunlun isn't accessible by air for most of the year. Supplies and personnel have to be hauled in via an epic 1,200-kilometer overland journey from China's coastal Zhongshan station, often taking weeks and requiring massive convoys of snow tractors. So why build something so extreme in such an inhospitable place? The official reason? Space science. Dome A has some of the clearest, driest skies on Earth, perfect for deep space observation. Kunlun houses advanced infrared telescopes to study the cosmos with minimal atmospheric interference. But not everyone is convinced that's all that's going on. Western analysts have raised eyebrows, suggesting Kunlun's remote location and high-tech setup could allow for dual-use operations, from satellite tracking to encrypted communications beyond the reach of most monitoring systems. After all, in Antarctica, science and strategy often walk hand in hand. So the question remains, what's China really planning at the top of the world's bottom? Hidden deep in Antarctica, Russia's Vostok station is one of the coldest places on Earth, hitting negative 89.2 degrees Celsius. But its real mystery lies beneath. Lake Vostok sealed under 4 kilometers of ice for millions of years. It's so old that scientists fear drilling could unleash unknown microbes or ancient frozen pathogens. In 2012, Russia drilled into Lake Vostok, and what they found remains mostly classified. They mentioned interesting biological signatures but gave no details, sparking conspiracy theories. Add unexplained magnetic anomalies and rumored radiation spikes, and Vostok starts to feel like a hidden Cold War relic. While Antarctic stations appear peaceful, their isolation and altitude makes them perfect for satellite tracking and signal intelligence. Bases like China's Kunlun and Russia's Vostok raise suspicions with their advanced antenna arrays and encrypted communications. Officially, it's just science, but unofficially, it might be surveillance cloaked in snow and silence. Simple. The Antarctic Treaty, signed in 1959, bans military activity but allows military personnel and equipment for scientific cooperation. That loophole has allowed countries to sneak in defense infrastructure under the guise of research. It's the world's coldest game of plausible deniability. In fact, both the US and Russia have previously conducted GPS calibration and missile tracking experiments from the ice, justified as environmental studies. So the next time you see a weather balloon drifting above an Antarctic base, remember, it might be measuring solar radiation or watching something a lot more terrestrial. Antarctica isn't a frozen lab. It's a natural test chamber for the strangest, boldest, and sometimes most unsettling experiments on Earth. For starters, scientists have long been fascinated by how DNA behaves in extreme cold. At some bases, researchers expose genetic material to sub-zero temperatures to study mutation rates and survival thresholds. The findings could shape everything from cryogenic medicine to long-term space travel. Then there's the hunt for life in subglacial lakes. Hidden beneath kilometers of ice are ancient water bodies like Lake Vostok and Lake Whillans. Completely cut off from the surface for millions of years, these lakes may harbor microbial life forms unlike anything on Earth, offering clues to how life might survive on Mars or Europa. Antarctica's clear skies and ice make it perfect for cosmic research, like IceCube, which detects particles from black holes and supernovas. But whispers persist of secret bioweapon studies and ancient viruses hidden in ice cores. These same cores also reveal 800,000 years of climate history, extinction events, and volcanic winters. Because in Antarctica, science gets strange fast. Because when the world is frozen solid, anything buried stays preserved. Building anything in Antarctica is like trying to assemble a spaceship in a blizzard. Every screw, beam, pane of glass, and wire has to be shipped in, often from thousands of kilometers away. Nothing is made on site, and there aren't any hardware stores on the ice. Building in Antarctica is an extreme feat of logistics and survival. Supplies arrive via ski-fitted planes or sleds. Fuel has to be preheated or it freezes solid, and bases are built on stilts or hydraulic lifts to escape snow burial. Even simple tasks demand heated gloves. The 1959 Antarctic Treaty declares the continent for peace and science, but beneath the surface, it's a geopolitical chessboard. 7 nations claim slices, some overlapping, while the US and Russia watch closely. As 2048 nears, infrastructure grows under the guise of research. Antarctica isn't just a frozen land. It's a quiet race for power, resources, and strategic presence. This is a continent with no borders. But make no mistake, every flag planted here means something. So next time someone says, "There's nothing down there but ice," remember, ice preserves everything, secrets included. So, which base gave you the biggest chills? If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want more updates, make sure to subscribe. Don't forget to click on the bell icon so you don't miss any videos and get your notifications on time. Then hop in the comments and tell us what you want the next video to be on. See you in the next one.